How's it going, everyone? Yeah, it's time. It's time to get busy on getting all the troubleshooting done and seeing what's going to work on this and what's not going to work on this and what we have to fix. I'm still working on the back glass, so you may have already seen it in a previous video. But I'm kind of filming these out of sync here. I'm kind of working on the back glass, and while I'm doing that, I have nothing better to do, so I figured let's start doing some troubleshooting on this. Now, if you remember, before, when we first turned this machine on and started a game, it would just continuously try and reset. I mean, the score motor was running, our reset relays in the back were chattering, trying to reset everything. Well, let's see, here's our start button. We got 8 games. Do I have a ball in it? Yep, there's a ball in it. Okay, now it is working and resetting and stopping and kicking out the ball. Well, while you guys were sleeping, I kind of was thinking about this, and on these machines, when you push the start button, it has to reset everything before the game over relay will release. Well, if I turned this off and turned it back on and went in and turned off the game over relay, everything come up and it would start. You know, flippers and everything would work and it would score. Well, I got to thinking about it. When you hit the start button, it has to reset all the score reels, and then it has to reset all the steppers, meaning your player, your ball count, your bonus, and let's see, player position, ball count. Yeah. And so it has to reset all these steppers back to 0. This is our 00 to 90, which that one doesn't need to reset. It just needs to stay in that, you know, it's just in that position, and as you play it moves and randomly puts your match. And the coin unit. Coin unit, usually that has nothing to do with your restart unless you're putting quarters in. Okay, so you have your 3 steppers. Those have to all go back to the home position. And that's drawn in this coil here, and your stepper runs back to 0, to home position. And when it runs back to home position, it opens these switches, telling the machine that it is back to home, and it can move on to whatever else it needs to do to reset. Has to reset all your score reels back to 0. And if those are all on 0 and everything's clean, it should tell the machine, okay, all of our score reels are back to 0. And we have one here that's that we need to work on a little bit more. Okay, so once the machine finds out, okay, all the score reels are at 0, it opens or closes, whichever the case may be, the switch on each one of these, or the position on the PCB, on the contact plate, which is that little dude right there with the wipers on it, if you remember from the previous video of cleaning those. Has to let the machine know that all the score reels are on 0. Then it has to let the machine know that all the stepper units are at home position before the game over relay will open or close. Let's see, this one is closed. When it closes, that means okay, the game is ready. It kicks out the ball and does all its happy fun stuff. Goes to ball 1, player 1 if you're only playing one player. What I have found out is all I did on this was I made sure we're all on zeros, and then the next thing is to check my steppers. So I went through, checked all my steppers, make sure they were all on the home position. So that's all done. Everything's ready. It's ready to kick on. Trip the game over relay, trip the game over relay and turn everything on, and then it can jump to ball 1 and kick out the ball and set your bonus and have everything ready to go. Has to push up your drop targets. Drop targets normally don't mean doodly squat when it's reset, and if they don't come up, the game will still reset. It's just that they won't come up. Okay, enough of that. What I did was I just simply went through and checked all my home position switches again and cleaned them again. Because like I said, this machine's been sitting forever and a day. And I was kind of hoping, all right, we'll just do this real quick because we're on zero with our score reel, so I figured this is where we need to go to next. So instead of digging into the schematics, if you know the theory and what has to be done in order for the game to start, you can go right to those little areas and check everything. Like if your score reel, if you have one that is on 1 or on a number and it continuously tries to keep resetting, you have a problem with that score reel. This one that's loose, every time you restart, every once in a while, that one wants to turn and reset, even though it's kind of halfway on zero. So like I said, that one we have to work on, the 10 on the third player. Okay, now, where was I? I'll lose my train of thought. Okay, so in theory, once these are all on zero, and like I said, if you have one that's not returning to zero and it keeps trying to reset, then that's your score reel that you need to go check on and adjust switches or clean up a little bit more again. On the Bally's and usually the Williams and the Gottliebs, there's a switch back there that when it goes to zero, it closes a switch or opens a switch and lets the machine know that it's on zero. And on those, if it's sitting there clicking, click, 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 and it's not moving back to zero, then it's going to keep resetting until you address that score reel. On this one, the home position, the zero position, is determined by the wiper. Wiper, yeah, that's what I had figured out. Yeah, because there's only one switch on these, and that's the end of stroke switch. That when it pulls back, it opens and shuts the coil off. So on the Chicago coins, on your contact plate and your little fingers is what determines and tells the machine it's on zero. Those were all good. Went to zeros. They all went to zeros, and then it just kept on going. Kept trying to reset something. Well, everything was reset. I went and checked. Everything was reset. All I did was, like I said, is went through on my steppers on the home position switches and made sure that they were closing and opening when they should, and cleaned them again. Because I'm kind of repeating myself again here, but a lot of times those switches were dirty still. I still didn't get them clean enough, even though we sat and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. When these machines sit forever, and who the hell knows where this one was sitting, because when I was cleaning contacts, my my cleaner just kept getting black every time I'd clean some switches. So this had been sitting for at least, you know, a week or two before I got it. So I cleaned them again, adjusted them, and hit the start button, and it still kept trying to reset on me. So I shut it off, turned it back on, hit the start button again, and lo and behold, it kind of, the contacts all started working again, and now it's working like it should. You know, sometimes these things kind of happen where you're messing with stuff and, you know, you keep thinking, oh, well, it's bad, this isn't working, but the more you play with it, then the machine starts kind of working this crap out by itself. You know, maybe the switch was just, once it hit the first time, you know, it just didn't make contact again, and the second time, okay, since it closed, when they close and open, sometimes they kind of move a little bit. Well, that kind of wipes them a little bit as they're closing, so they kind of make a little friction and kind of self-cleaning, I guess you want to call it. And it just removed probably some stuff off of the switch that was on my file. And then she started working. So it was one of those switches on our steppers. So we got that taken care of. And now she starts like she should. So the next thing we need to do is now we need to start going through this and checking everything and making sure everything works. All right, let's get busy and get this all checked out. I got my tablet here and my pen so we can write stuff down, because you know we're going to be working on stuff. Okay, now we'll start with our advanced. We'll start at the top and work our way down. No points, but it does advance the bonus. Okay, let's see. Okay, 1,000 in advance, 1,000 in advanced, 1,000 in advance. Okay, and then extra advance if you hit the center. Gives you 3. No points though. Let's see. Oh, here we go. These should be 10. Rolls over. Noisy coil. 10. And turns over. These should be, the bumper should be 100 when lit. That one's, get over here. That's not too bad. This one, I think I could adjust those switches just a little bit more. Yep. That one you got to push down a long ways on the bottom before it does anything. Let's see. And let's see. Wonder what? Let's just write a noisy coil in bottom. Okay. Let's see. That should be 10. Nope. That's actually 100 over there. And it turns over. Bell's kind of wimpy. Okay, those two work. Let's see what our S does here. What did that give us? Okay, 500. And did it advance? Nope, doesn't advance our bonus either. These two should advance. Yep. To 10. Okay. But no points. Now this is the neatest feature, I think, of this machine, is this 4-hole. And I think, let's see, what's that give us? 5. Yep, 500 per hole. But see, it says STAR, and I thought it would, maybe not. That's just 5,000. Okay, when the hole, oops, when the hole is lit. And to light our lights should be our drop targets, which is S, and that turns on our S up top here, which should give us 5,000. Where are we at? 13,000. Oh, come on. Yep. 5. All right. And then A. Lights are A. R. Lit. And a sticky T. Sticky T. Drop target. And I think I keep seeing a light flash in here. I think one of our light bulbs, I need to check those sockets. Okay. Alright. That's A. Alright, let me turn this off. Looks like our A. Let's see, A. Relay is sticking. Because and it's not recognizing that that's in there. Okay. Oh. I can't get my finger in there to move it to see if it's not pushed down all the way. Because it should. Alright, let me... This is fun, isn't it? Where's... Oh, there it is. Let me see if this is the A. Yeah, it is. Okay, but why didn't it? It didn't like something. It had to have been that relay that was on. Okay, now it's over. Let's get it restarted again. Okay, so we know that it's our A, STA, and that's part of our, I think that should be part of our drop target circuit there too. Now there was one other problem. This is the ball index. And I think that's the noisy coil there. Alright. Now where were we? So we know we got to work on our drop targets. Let's see, our... Yep. That's 10. And see, that time it worked out okay. That just advances. And let's see, our T, let's see, that is, okay, that's in our, let's see, adjust pop bumpers, okay, that's annoying, isn't it? Drop target T. Light, okay. Now, cause see when you, that's, and it went over to ball 2. This is our ball count, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other one's our 4-player, and it's lit. Now see, every time you go across this, that turns on that ball index relay, and it's awful noisy. Now when you get all of them down, and then let's see, okay, and when you go in the, when you come in your light here, or your four holes, it turns your special on, and that should give us a game, and it does with no knocker. So we'll check our knocker and see, it's, we have a special ball, or a special ball, extra ball, but I do not see extra ball on here anywhere. Got special, there's, okay, we've got special on this side and extra ball on the other side. Okay, and that turns on our extra ball, so it's working. And we also got double bonus. When you light all your star and you put it in the center here, it gives you double bonus. So it's lit here. Okay, so double bonus, we should get 20,000 because we have double bonus, and we should have an extra ball. We have 26. And we only got 42. Okay, and we're still on second ball. Yep. And it stays on second ball. But why didn't we had 10? We should have had 46 and not 42. Let's try that again. That gives us 10. So we should have 52. It's cheating us too. Cheating us 2,000. Okay. Bonus stepper. Let's just put off 2. $2,000. Let's try it again. 9, 10, 50. We should have 60. Okay, that time it gave us the 10. So but we still need to check that because it's not scoring like it should. What else we have here? See, when you get the S, it also lights the S in the lane here. Okay, 66. Give me that. Come on. 72. That's because I hit the bumper a couple of times. Like I said, that turns over. Now we need to find out if the 100 will light. put 10 up on there. And see, it cheated us 1,000. We're on 4th ball. Let's... Now it's giving us 5,000 because it's lit. Not all the time though. Okay. When hole lit, not always giving 5,000. So that's another. Okay, we're at 99. Okay, let's see if 99, ouch. $99,990. And let's hit a 10. But the 9 didn't roll over. Oh, that's 100, sorry. That's the one I should have hit. Okay, and our 100,000 light lit. Okay, now what else? Like I said, that's the special. Yeah, that works. Just no knocker. Extra ball comes on. Double bonus because we had our star lit and we hit all 4 of those. So our double bonus. Let's try that one more time and see what happens. We have 200 points. And see, it didn't turn over. But it did that time. Fun. Okay, let's see. Number 1 player. What is that? That's the 1,000. 1,000. Let's go 1,000 to 10. Oop, come on, 1,000. Not working all time. All right, what else should we be looking at here? I know this coming up to this ramp, that doesn't give you any points. Neither does that. So you can see it'll lay on that, on those bumpers. So like I said, need to get those adjusted. That side's pretty good. That side you have to hit pretty hard and it's kind of wimpy. Yeah. So we'll look at that. Like I said, that's on the list. Okay, now let's see if it'll go into game over. We still got an extra ball. Yep, 4th ball. Oop, I'm gonna hit that index so it turns that off. 5th ball. Okay, and it went to game over. Match was 10 and we had 80. So who knows if the match works until we actually get through one and it matches for us and see. But we got to get that knocker fixed. Okay, so we got a pile of crap here to fix and get adjusted. And I think what I will do, since some of this is pretty easy to get through, is I'll go ahead and get our bumpers adjusted and adjust some more switches along and through here, because some of them aren't. You have to hit them pretty hard. This drop target T, that one, I think that's just switch misadjusted. Some of the stuff I'll go through and see what I can do on my own. Oh, the flippers do work, but the flippers are noisy. I forgot to show you that. Flippers, noisy. So that adds something else to it. Okay, so I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go through and I'll fix some of this stuff, because some of it's just an easy fix, and some of it, you know, it doesn't, no big deal, and there's no reading schematics or anything on some of this stuff. So I'll just go through, I'll fix some of this stuff, and if I run into something that I need to show you, I'll bring you back and I'll show you what's going on. But like I said, I'll start here at the top, and I'm just going to start adjusting, and noisy coil in the bottom. Most of the time that's just that little metal plate that goes up against the coil needs cleaned up, and because it, you know, it kind of off a little bit, so we'll get that cleaned up. The sticky T drop target, that one, yeah, that's just going to be an adjustment probably. Same with our light, our drop target T light should be, I think that's all part of the T drop target to turn on the light. So I'll take a peek at that and get that done. The knocker, same thing. It's probably, hell, I don't know, maybe we got a burn up coil. I never really paid any attention to it until now. The stepper, now that I may bring you back and show you what the hell's going on with that stepper, why it's not counting down properly. And same with this, when the hole was lit, not giving us the 5,000, still only giving us the 500 sometimes. So we'll take a peek at that and see what's going on there. Player, the 1,000 rolling over, I'm sure it's just going to be a small adjustment on the score reel. And this one I need, like I said, if I leave it right there, every time I start the game, it'll reset everything. But if I move this down, now, and then when I start a game, then it wants to redo it. So, and plus I'll check the other players. You don't need to watch me go through all the players and see if they all roll over. If I have a problem there, same thing, I'll bring you back. Let's see, the noisy flippers. Most of the time it's because the coil is loose in there, loose in the bracket, and if you have one of those little spring washers, you can stick them in there and you can usually quiet them down. Okay, so I'm going to get started on this, and I'll bring you back when I start getting some of this stuff done. Alright, as I'm working through all of this, this is player 2 that I'm working on the score reels on these. These Chicago coins are pretty finicky as far as keep getting them adjusted. And if you remember in the that one video I had, I cleaned all these score reels up because they were all gummy and had old oil on them, so we had to tear them completely down and clean them. Well, there's little adjustments on these to keep them moving like they should. This one right now, you can see that the coil's got it pulled all the way in, and it's trying to spring back, and it's really stiff. You can see it's trying to work. I'm going to hit the 100-point relay. Oops, there we go. It's stuttering just because the way I'm doing it, as far as pushing on the relay instead of actually hitting a switch out front. What happens is when you put these back together, this nut and screw that goes through to your contact here, your contact plate, if you have that too tight, it can't turn freely. And what you have to, it's really kind of a feel thing. You know, yeah, there it is. Put a little hair around it there, boy, you'll find it. If you just kind of loosen it up just a bit. Not much. Just to loosen that wheel up just a little bit so it does turn a little freer. Now, instead of hitting the relay, I'll come out front here and hit a switch. You can see now it's freed up. It just, I had it too tight, and that little contact fingers here were just a little too tight down on it. That's why you put a little bit of grease on those. Let me find a 10-pointer and we'll go around and see if it'll... Okay. That's all there is to it as far as, you know, getting them to move freely. And if your wheel is too loose, you know, when it, say you're in between two numbers or just off a little bit, that little slide plate, if you remember, sitting right in here, there's 2 screws. You can loosen those up and push it up closer to the gear down inside there, and it'll tighten that wheel up and it'll lock into place a little better. So I'm kind of working through those. I have a couple more on player 2 that I think the 1000 or the 10,000 is doing the same thing, and I'll go ahead and get that squared away, and then I'll move on to player 3 and see if we can't see if all those are working. You know, this is just what you have to go through when you clean all these. You know, you're gonna, when you put them back together, you're gonna be a little bit misadjusted, and you have to go back through and kind of work through them a little bit more. So I'll move on. Kind of drew a big blank there as to what I was going to say next. I'll go through and I'll get those, make sure player 2's good, and then I'll do player 3 and player 4, and we'll get all those taken care of. Here we go again on score reels. Still working on them. Okay, this is third player. The 1000 reel. What I was running into with it is when it would turn over, like from 9,000 to 10,000, it would go from 9,000 to 20,000. It would double dip it. So I pulled it out, and if you can see, I'll zoom you in here, that when I put this together, I bent one of the contacts over. So now I have to take this plate back off and straighten that out. Probably what it's probably doing is wherever it's supposed to flip over, with it being bent under like that, it's probably contacting it twice. So I'll get that squared away, and we'll see if that takes care of our problem. If not, if not, we'll be working on it some more, trying to figure that out. All right, there's our little contact finger. As you can see, we got one that's bent over, and I know it wasn't like that when I took it apart the first time, because I cleaned the fingers. So I did that when I was putting that back together, you know, which happens. Crap happens. So now I'll get this straightened out, and I'll get her all put back together, and we'll see if that remedies our problem. Okay, straightened out that little pin, Got that little contact done up the way it should be. Now, she flips over. But my 100,000 didn't light. Okay, well, that's something else to take a look at. Okay, now, I've gone through this list. We just finished up our score reels again. As you could, in the last segment, I showed you a few things that I had found with my score reels as I was going through the players to make sure all of our numbers were rolling over when they should and they weren't hanging up. And a few issues I did find. We fixed that problem. Now everything's working on all 4 of our score reels. And I had noticed that our player up lights weren't working. At least when it was on 3, it wasn't working, and I think it was on 2 it wasn't working, which were kind of oddball because those 2 have nothing to do with one another. Usually 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 have a few things in common with them. But the 2 and the 3 have absolutely nothing in common. Well, what I found, I kind of traced that down a little bit, and everything was all hooked up, and the light should have been on. 2 brand new bulbs. Dookie! So I replaced a couple of bulbs, and now all the lights are working on the back box, and all of our lights are working on our playfield. Okay, on our list here, we got the bumpers adjusted. Noisy coil in the bottom, that was our ball index coil. All I had to do was clean the 2 plates, the coil, the face of the coil, and the little plate that sucks up against it. I just cleaned those 2, and then it quieted right down. It may still be a little, every now and then it still vibrates and hums a little bit, but not like it was. It's a hell of a lot quieter. Our sticky T drop target, this one here, if you remember, it would drop, but it kept the relay closed, and it's at there. Same thing, that was just a typical misadjusted switch on the drop target. That works. Ooh, our A-hole relay is sticking. That was our up there, yeah, that was our A target. Same thing, the A target drops, trips the relay to turn on the lights, and no, the lights are on the drop target itself, but that drops to give you the points and set the special bonus up on the inside. Same thing, it was just a sticky switch on our target. We took care of that. The ball index relay was noisy. That was the one, that was this noisy coil on the bottom. That was our ball index. We took care of that. Drop target T light. Remember, this light didn't want to come on. Same thing, the light is on your drop target. When it drops, it closes a switch and turns on that light. And it also sends power to the double bonus relay, setting it up so when you drop in there, it gives you double bonus. Knocker. The knocker is working, it's not very loud. Okay, the bonus stepper was off 2,000. Here's the fun. The bonus stepper off 2,000. If you had 10 or more, usually when it get down into here somewhere, it would skip 1 or 2 of the lights and not score your bonus. Now I'm going to try to explain this. I'm not a big fan of this of Chicago Coins schematics. For starters, they're too small for me. Half the time I can't read what the hell it is. Okay, here's our bonus collect relay, which is okay, bonus collect relay comes up here to a white and green, and it's through the start relay, but it has to be open, which it is, because we didn't really, you know, it was collecting, so we didn't have to worry about this being closed and it not collecting. That was all fine. It the reset relay and all that kind of comes into play with it. I never did find the actual stepper on here for the bonus collect. Everything else is on here, but you know, when it comes to these steppers, like here's your score motor, here's your one of your score reels. You know, it just shows you, yeah, fourth player. Here's your coil on your score reel. Fourth player, you know, this is your score reel here. But it just absolutely nothing showing you the, you know, where the positions off of each one of these wires come. It's in here somewhere, so you have, you know, you can't just look at the stepper, a score reel or a stepper, and look at the wire, you know, and find your wires on there. It's just, it's about the only thing I have a problem with Chicago Coin is their schematics. Okay, now I gotta find that again. Oh shoot! Like I said, that double bonus, was it around the double bonus? There's the T hole, R hole, extra special. There's our A hole. Okay, here's our advance. That's the one at the top. That advance is right here, our extra advance. That one's supposed to give you three advances when you drop down through there, and it wasn't. It would sometimes it would give us three, other times it'd give us one or two. So, but that all ties into what we were working with here. A target, extra special, a target, advance, extra advance. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Advances are the buttons on the play field, and then here's our extra advance, which goes through E6, and E6 is on our score motor. Let's see, resistance, that's our flippers, right flipper. Oh man. I had to do a few other things after I got this all squared away, so now I'm kind of lost again. Oh, where to find that? Lane switch, bonus, there it is, bonus collect. Bonus collect comes through D1. Bonus collect, okay, bonus collect relay. And this is where I kind of figured we were having our problems, was right here with the bonus collect relay. It just says bonus collect relay. Like you're supposed to know, okay, where's the bonus collect relay? You know, you can get down in there and look them all up, look at each one of them and find the bonus collect relay. Or if you have the manual, you can cheat and go right over here. It's number 12, bonus collect relay. And of course, it's the one all the way back there in the corner. Hardest one to get to. That's Murphy's Law for you. If it's going to be tough, it's going to be tough. Okay, what I did on that one is I had found that my switches were still a little bit dirty. They were adjusted okay, they were sucking in and doing fine, but there was probably one or two of the switches on there. There's, let's see, what was on there? 1, 2, 3. I think there were 6 switches on it. And when it would pull down, there was a couple of them that you could see arcing every now and then. So I figured, okay, we still have a little bit of dirt, because when you pull it in, they would all the blades would move. The little blade would move as it, it's making contact. Eventually it would have kept making contact and wiping a little bit each time it made a contact. It would have cleaned itself, but we want it working now. Wondering what the clamp was for. Okay. I stood up the play field, and I had this little opening here on the other side where I could stick one arm and my head in there and see the relay, and I could work with one hand. Well, all the switches are open, so if you put your little cleaner in there, you're just wiping air. Okay, what I did was I took this clamp down there with me, and I clamped the relay closed. So all the switches were closed. Then I could stick my little dude in here and get them all cleaned up, and that took care of that. And that was the easiest way for me to do it anyway, without tearing everything down again. And that was the hardest part so far of what I had found on this thing. So that's good. We got that taken care of. When hole lit, not always giving 5,000. Okay. I didn't read. On our 4 holes, our star, the S hole, here we go with those holes again, is 5,000 when lit. You get 5,000, that top hole with the S, and you can see the S here. When it's lit, if you hit the target up top there, you get 5,000. If you light the T, is double bonus and 500 points. And if you light the A hole, the special lane is lit, which is this one here. And then if you hit the R, it lights our extra ball. So that we didn't have a problem with it. I thought, just looking at it at a glance, I didn't actually read and understand everything that was going on when I first looked it over, is the top hole, the S, is the only one that gives you 5,000. I was under the impression if you had them all lit, you got 5,000 points for each one. Nope, just that top one, which is kind of nice, because if you light it and your ball's up here binging, bopping around, and it drops in here, it gives you the 5,000. So it's easy to get a 5,000 with that lit. This target is one mean mother to hit. Okay, so that was just a misunderstanding as far as this one goes. Player 1,000 to 10,000 not working all the time. Okay, you seen what I did in the back when I was working on the score reels. That's what it was, is we just had the 1,000 score reel was not turning properly, and in that last segment I showed you how to fix them. Flippers, God, there's not a whole hell of a lot out there about buzzing flippers. Everything kicks out, and as you can see, you have to hit this switch in order to score. That's your ball index relay. And our added advance is 3. Yep, see, still, it kind of hangs up every now and then. Either that or it kind of... I think it should give you 3 every time. No, it seems like every third time you go through there, it gives you 2 and not 3. So it's got to be the way it's supposed to be set up. I mean, we have 12. Well, nothing. I better put a couple points on there. and now it gives you the 12 that you're supposed to have. And okay, now down to these noisy flippers. The noisy flippers, I mean, that's not too bad. I had it, I replaced the coil stops, the coil on one, the shafts and links, everything on them. And those suckers, when you pulled the trigger on those, they would vibrate so bad. You know, you couldn't even stand it. I mean, it hummed and buzzed so bad. Well, what I determined, you know, I tried everything. I took my coil stops off, and the brand new coil stops, and it was hitting right along the bottom here. And I figured, okay, that's probably why it's buzzing, is it's not making a flush contact, and you don't have a nice flat surface contacting your coil stop, causing it to vibrate, because it's still trying to suck it together up top here. Now, I took and I bent them a little bit so I could get it flatter up against, so the shaft, the rod, would hit up against this flush. And it's still no go. Still had a real bad problem. Changed the flipper shafts and flipper bats to the one piece, thinking that maybe, you know, just at that point I was kind of at my ends trying to figure out why they were vibrating so bad. So I got to thinking, well, I wonder what it was like before I changed the coil stops. So I went and I dug out the old coil stops, because I don't throw them away just in case you need to use one just to get by until a new one comes in. And I started over here with where the new coil was. I put the old, filed the little ridge off of it, and put it on this flipper with the new coil, and now we just have a little bit of a vibration, a little bit of a hum and a buzz. This coil stop I put on the old coil was beat just a little bit more than this one, and it still buzzes, but it doesn't sit there and buzz so bad that you think you're going to shake your plastics off. I'll tell you, they were buzzing so bad, if your switches were too close on something on the playing field, it would have started giving you points just holding the flipper and letting it buzz. It was terrible. I wish I would have recorded it, but I was just trying to figure it out, and you just kind of forget to do things like that. So anyway, we got everything working again. I still have a few things left that I'm waiting to come in. I had to put the old shooter sleeve on the housing, this beehive. Had to put the old one on. It's not real bad, but I have a new one ordered, and when it comes in, that's just something I can swap out real quick. And let's see what else is. I did change put legs on it. Get up there. It's playing pretty good. I've been kind of tweaking, getting things dialed in, getting switches adjusted where I like them. you know, so actually when the ball actually hits them, that they actually work. Get over there. But it is a high scoring machine. You can see it's really easy to get bonuses. But there she is. We got everything all squared away. I'm sorry there wasn't a whole lot of schematic readings in this. When you go through these machines and clean everything before you start messing with it, it makes the end result, the troubleshooting end of it, so much easier, because you've gone through and you've cleaned all your switches and steppers, all the steppers, you know, working, score reels are working. These ones are a little bit more finicky, so you may have some problems with the Chicago coins, the style, after you clean them all. I wouldn't have tore them down. I would have just re-sleeved them and cleaned them, you know, the best I could. But there was old oil on those, if you remember. They were just really stuck, and there was no way that those were going to work, just, you know, wiping them down and trying to clean a little bit of the old oil off of them. They had to be tore completely down and cleaned. But when you do that, you know, you can figure it out. It's not that hard. But if you know the theory of how this stuff works on these machines, it's pretty easy when it comes time to do the troubleshooting. If you've cleaned everything, new sleeves, the steppers are all cleaned and freed up, and you know, it makes it so much easier. You don't have to break out the schematics as much to track things down that aren't working. If you just bring one in and plug it in and think you're gonna just fix things that are wrong with it, you're gonna find that that's all you're gonna do is spend your time tracking stuff down that's not working, because there's just so much that you got to do first. Get it prepped before you can turn it on and start troubleshooting. So finally, we got everything working on this machine. Like I said, when it came time for troubleshooting, we just had our, basics, some, a couple switches that still had a little bit of dirt on them, just some switches not being adjusted, because when you clean them, you don't adjust them. You just kind of say to yourself, well, it was working before it was put away, so all those switches should be okay. Well, they do get a little goofy from heating up and cold, and humidity. The metal expands, contracts. Yada. Okay. Anyway, so that you are going to have a few switches that are out of adjustment, and you never know what was thrown in here before you got it, and whatever. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cinema, of all the troubleshooting and getting everything working again. And like I said, yeah, you can see she's up on all fours now. Ooh, she can stand on her own. And in the next episode, we will do some gameplay, some real gameplay on the machine, and finish up this series. So I hope to see you in the gameplay. Until next time, see ya.